Kentucky Derby.
You're watching Past the Wire TV, the biggest races at the best tracks. From the Kentucky Derby to the Breeders' Cup. The best horse racing coverage is right here on Past the Wire TV.
Welcome in. It's Sunday afternoon, just about, but it's still Sunday morning coffee on Past the Wire TV. Big Race Jim. Shout out to our friends at SureBet Coffee and AmWager. Big day yesterday on the East Coast for horse racing. We had the Haskell, a bunch of other stakes races at Monmouth, a couple of stakes at Saratoga. Let's just talk about the Haskell and what's kind of shaping up in the 3-year-old division. Journalism, heavy favorite, making everybody a little bit nervous at various points during the race yesterday. Let's fire it up and check out this replay. Here we go. Let's just bring the volume down.
Ready to go.
And if you look,
They're off.
like journalism just kind of missed the break, and which, I mean, obviously he ended up winning the race, so you could say that's fine, but not necessarily ideal for journalism. You even felt like here too, Umberto was getting into him a little bit, trying to get him to engage with that pack of leaders there. I read an article, I think it was the Daily Racing Forum, saying that Umberto said that the horse was not appreciating the kickback, and we haven't heard that from journalism yet. And perhaps that's just the surface at Monmouth, but here is still, you didn't feel good here at this point in the race, but he nudged him a little bit, and he was able to start picking off all of these horses. So your confidence started to grow a little bit here as he's coming up alongside all these horses and makes this big sweeping move. But Gosger, goal oriented, they're two quality horses. Gosger, I think, has been pretty impressive. This was a good race from him. The Preakness was a good race. But journalism, looked like he was going to motor on by and just kind of leveled off, and then was able to get up over them late. But I thought that was he had to overcome a lot, right? He missed the break, didn't like the kickback apparently, went wide, and was still able to get it done. Obviously a top two 3-year-old behind Sovereignty, who's beaten him on the square twice. But I wasn't necessarily sold on the fact that this was the race that they wanted him to be in. He's going to go back to California also. So I would be, I don't know. Would I be surprised? I'm not necessarily sure I'd be surprised if he came back to Saratoga for the Travers. I just feel like that would be a heck of a lot of travel for this horse. over the last couple of months. I mean, he's danced every dance. He shows up. He wins big races. So the Travers, to see him against Sovereignty would be really really something.
Journalism was first.
But back and forth, coast to coast, I think is would wear on him a little bit. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be wearing on him already, and it hasn't yet. So I think that remains to be seen. I think one thing that we've learned is that journalism does well with a target, and when he has somebody out in front that he's able to run down, he's a better horse. Where he becomes the target, like the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont, where Sovereignty used journalism as the target and ran him down. It didn't work out so well for him. And you're kind of in this weird sort of gray area from a race tactic standpoint for journalism. Because if you want to have, Sovereignty, let's say, as your target, you got to be a little bit even more back than he was in this race or any of the other races. And I don't know that that is a recipe for consistent success, especially against some of the top horses in this 3-year-old crop. So I think it'll be interesting to see where journalism winds up next and the tactics that they put forth. Because we've seen twice now, and there's no reason to think that in a third time that he'd be able to hold off a closing Sovereignty. It hasn't happened twice. Nothing to indicate that for the third time that it could happen. So I think journalism has to have Sovereignty as the target. Now, John and I were talking about this after the Derby, and it just didn't shape up that way for him in the Belmont. And he was the target for Sovereignty, and Sovereignty was able to go right on by him. So we'll see what happens moving forward. Personally, I didn't think that this was the spot that they really wanted, that maybe McCarthy wanted journalism in. But at the same time, Haskell was a win and you're in race for the Breeders' Cup Classic. So he's in, his ticket's punched. He's got, a free plane trip and whatever other incentives that they give for a win and you're in race. So I guess that I can see why they would put him in here, thinking he just towered over the field. Just to kind of secure that spot. Now maybe they go back to California and rest all the way up to the Breeders' Cup. Maybe he gets another start in the Pacific Classic. We'll see. The Travers would be something really cool to see him go up against Sovereignty, who is running in the Jim Dandy next weekend. But again, that traditional path is becoming, more and more untraditional as the years go on here, where you have horses skipping big races to wait for the next big race, so on and so forth. So we'll see where journalism ends up next. One last point on the Haskell. Yeah, I think you see a lot of these horses that are sort of progressing and getting more seasoning, getting sharper. These sort of like late developing horses that typically jump on the scene here in the summer and into the fall, and that 3-year-old season like a Gosger who was whatever 20-30 to 1 in the Preakness and damn near won it. And I think he was 9-2 or whatever in here yesterday, but still ran a bang up race. So we talk about sovereignty, journalism, Sandman, even though I don't think that horse is on the same tier as the other two I mentioned. Well, you have these horses, Magnitude. People really like Magnitude, so we'll see what happens leading into the Travers here. But Gosger or Magnitude would be really good examples of horses that um, weren't ready for the Derby for one reason or another, but now that they've had a couple of solid months under their belt, we're really starting to see just the quality of those horses. So it should shape up for an interesting second half of the summer and on into the fall. So as you're looking through these races moving forward, just understand that much like we see in that 2-year-old season, right? At the beginning of the 3-year-old year, horses jump up and take big steps forward in their progression. That still happens this time of year with some of those 3-year-olds that, maybe were pretty lightly raced at the beginning of the year, but now they've got a couple of decent runs underneath their belt, and just something to keep an eye out. You might be able to find a good bit of value somewhere along the line in these races. So quick one today. Just wanted to talk about the Haskell journalism gets it done at 2-5. On to the next race for him. A whole host of things went wrong, but he was still able to get up and run a nice race, get another grade 1, get another $600,000, punch his ticket to the Breeders' Cup. So a fan favorite. Always like watching that horse run. So we'll see where he lands next for Mike McCarthy. We'll leave it there. Sunday morning coffee only on Past the Wire TV. I'm Big Race Jim. Shore Bet Coffee, Amwager, and Pleasant Acres. Have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday. Go.
It's simplification and Javier. Here comes journalism, here comes sovereignty, and they square off, head into the final for sovereignty wins the Derby!
You're watching Past the Wire TV. Hit that like button and subscribe to Past the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.